For those that from Cairo know that we're very close to Tahrir Square. Others that don't know that, they want to make sure that they want to go there. Because a little bit less than 20 months ago, there was a great event happening over there. That was the great revolution that we had on the 25th of January. This revolution had three themes. Everybody here in Egypt, and I'm sure some of you that are familiar with Egypt know those three themes: عيش, حرية, عدالة اجتماعية. Bread, freedom, and social justice. What I want to tell you at the beginning, that I want to challenge you that what this meeting will come up with to contribute to the success of this revolution. So I will ask my friend Mr. Ala Saba to tell me by the end of the day what this gathering intend to do to help this country achieve what was this revolution is all about. Obviously, if you want to talk about democracy, about freedom, this goes hand in hand with economic growth. If you want to talk about social justice, it is not about everybody's getting the same salary, but it's about everybody getting share of the pie. So how do you make this pie, our economy, much larger than what it is, so everybody can get a fair share, and then we can achieve our social justice. So this is, I'm sure you have other targets, but this is the Prime Minister's assignment to you, is that we want to hear from you at the end of the day how you think you'll be able to contribute to the success of this revolution of this great country. And then you can tell your grandchildren that you have been part of this, and you really have contributed to the building of this economy and to the success of the revolution. And all those who died for the success of this revolution did not die in vain. This is our role. This is what we put in front of us every day. We, being the government, and I'm sure many of you think of this every day. What can we do to ensure that those people that have died or sacrificed their lives or were injured did not do that in vain? So in terms of the political systems, I think we are, the democratic system, I think we are in good shape. We for the first time in the Egyptian modern history, we have an elected president and an accountable government. And I guess an accounting government means a lot. It means that this government can take decisions, and they are taking decisions. We are taking decisions, serious ones, to provide the enabling environment for the investment, to provide for social justice, to improve education, health, to ensure that the poor are not getting poorer, and to ensure that the social elements are properly addressed on whatever we do. So this accountable government has to take care of improving the investment climate. But before we go into investment, I need to tell you that there's a constituent assembly working on putting the constitution together. Some of them don't like me talk about the constitution. They say, what's the government has to do with the constitution? And I'm repeating, what I'm saying is I'm quoting them. I'm not putting words in their mouths. That's what they say. They say that, and this is as an Egyptian, normal Egyptian citizen, I think I'm entitled to put my reservation that they are doing a good job. This is what I'm saying. And they say they will finish within a month or two. Once they finish, once we have the general referendum, 2 months from there, as a government, I can say we can have the next parliamentary elections 2 months after that. So having this by the end of the year, beginning of this year, 2013, we will be in a better position in terms of establishment our political institutions. But as I mentioned, this has to go hand in hand with enhancing the economic situation. In terms of economy, in terms of environment, in terms of unemployment, in terms of many sectors, I think we're facing tremendous challenges. I will not be leaking information, but the situation is not very pretty, but it is fixable. That's the bad news. It's not pretty, but the good news, it is fixable. It is fixable in two ways. The first theme that we're focusing in is to address the issue of the budget deficit. The second issue, or the second theme, is to stimulate the economic growth so we can provide more jobs to our people. So fixing the first part, the budget deficit, we definitely have to look at how to cut our expenses, how to increase our revenue very quickly. We need to, of course, borrow for this year a good chunk of money. But for next, we want to make sure that next year we borrow less, and then we have a balance afterward. We need to also think of some ideas some out-of-the-box ideas. Can we create special funds for infrastructure that we can support this country to grow and prosper? So many ideas that we are exploring to help reduce the budget deficit and also to be able to fulfill our duties to providing good services to our people. So we're currently finalizing our homegrown reform program. We are going to have a societal dialogue around what do we do about the budget deficit very soon, which will definitely entail some of you, the Egyptian ones. And then we be resuming our negotiation with IMF. And I want to emphasize that we intended to be a homegrown program. It is not something that will be imposed on us by anybody else. But it will be a real one, and it will definitely have a good impact on the future of this economy. Having a negotiation with IMF will also provide us with not only getting some fresh money from the IMF, which would be only 25% of what we need, but it will be also giving us a certificate that this economy and this political this political system knows where it's going and where it is heading, and it should be heading to the right direction, and those guys are able to borrow and be able to pay their debts. Before I go into the economic growth issue, let me just share with you three indicators. Moody and Standard Poor take off Egypt from the watch list. This is for the first time since January 25, 2011. And also the rating for Egypt were kept the same. Since the beginning of the revolution, we were put in the watch list, and every time they review it, they put us at a lower grade. But this time, they choose not to, and they talk of the watch list. So that shows that there's a good indication here about what we are doing. Also, the credit default swap, the CDS, decreased from 7.3% in June this year to 4.25% this week. This is another additional evidence about the improvement, the general improvement of the performance of the Egyptian economy. Also, the cost of issuing bond has decreased by a percent between 1.25 to 1.5%. That also shows that the risk of governmental loans has also decreased. These are the three numbers coming from abroad. This is not government. Of course, you know that better than I. That these are not governmental numbers. Those are numbers that coming from international reputable institutions. So people abroad assess this economy and assess the performance of the last couple of months and the political system that this country is heading to the right direction. Let me also share local numbers with you that shows that in one sector, I'm a fan of the tourism sector because of the tourism sector can really have a quick win on the ground very quickly and have a quick impact and profound impact on the Egyptian people. I always give the example of the southern Egypt, Luxor and Aswan. This area, last few months were really deserted, but you know the hotels are there, the skilled laborers are there. They still have the Nile and the monuments and the temples. So and the interested tourisms are outside waiting for the security to come back so they can resume their travel to Egypt and enjoy the beautiful weather and climate and the warm hospitality of the Egyptian people. So this is one sector that we think we can have a very quick win and have again a good impact. And I just last night I received some encouraging numbers that I want to share with you. That the number of tourists that came to Egypt in August 2012 was 1,377,000. Compared to the August last year, the number was only 900,000 tourism, which provided an increase of around 14.4%. So you increase your tourist numbers by 14.4% just by providing, improving the security. So this is without doing anything to the infrastructure or this is just using the current infrastructure. We improved it by 14%. Of course, the number of tourism nights increased also by 10%. In terms of revenue, it was this year, August this year, it was $892 million $892 million compared to $786 million in August 2011. So those are just international and local indicators that show that there's already signs of improvement that are taking place. But we want to. This is the quick fixes that we're trying to do here and there. But I want to tell you, I want to share with you our vision because this government has to work in many fronts, and I'm not sure how many, but a lot of fronts, because we have to make sure that we really have a vision. We know where and what do we want to be in 10 years. And then we need to build our programs and plans to make sure that we reach that place or that destination of those many number of years. But also we have to address the immediate demands for jobs and for justice and for salary increases or strikes here and there. So we also have to address this. So but I think is the most important thing is while we're in a way, I'm not going to say disturbed, but while a little bit deviated from our focus to look at the long vision, we need to maintain this focus. We need to also keep focusing that we're heading to a certain direction. So if we get deviated here and there, but that's not going to disturb us from going to where we think we should be going. So the long-term development vision that we have is to become a knowledge-based economy with a stable and balanced social structure, maintaining its religious values, culture heritage, ensuring the well-being and the quality of life for all citizens under a democratic political regime and within an integrated ecological system conducive to sustainable development and active community participation. So there is many keywords here in this vision: knowledge-based economy, democratic political regime, sustainable development, community participations. So to translate these keywords from the vision, we need to do a lot of work. But I want to tell you, as you're from the business community, some of the quick fixes that we are doing to provide the proper enabling environment for you to resume work or to get into this very promising market. By the way, the word promising market is not mine. I'm an eyewitness of the number of investors that have come to Egypt since we were in charge, and I was also part of the previous government, so I can really tell that the people get this right perception that this is a government. There's an elected president, freely elected. There is a stable and accountable government. So this is the first ingredients for a promising market. So we received we started working on Friday, and on Saturday we received delegations from Libya. The same week from Qatar, the week after from Dubai, and from the US and from the UK and from Holland, and so from many countries, and all of them are coming. One of their objectives, of course, to know who are these people, and the second is that they want to know how to contribute to the development of this market and become a part of the success of this country. So in terms of providing the enabling environment, we first thought of that we need to look into the disputes, the outstanding issues that we could fix outside the court. Of course, if they are in the court, our hands are tied. We have to wait for the verdict. But before, outside of that, we need to make sure that if something that we can resolve, then we can resolve out of the court. And sitting in front of me, Mr. Osama Saleh, heading the Ministry of Investment, and this is really, of course, he has many tasks, but this is the question I ask him every night: what have you done to fix this case and that case from various countries? Because we want to get the right message: is there's a good environment, there's an enabling environment in this country to invest. Of course, when an investor with some dispute and this gets resettled soon, that means that this investor will resume its work in the project, in the current project that is on the ground. Additionally, it will entice more people to come, whether from his country or her country or from the other countries. We're also looking at our procedures, rules and procedures. What we're learning is maybe to create a company here, to establish a company, it takes a month, 1 month, but 1 day, okay. so to establish, but to start your work, it takes another one, but it is not 1 day, it is 1 year. So how do we get this thing close together? So my colleagues are tasked to do that, and we're determined to do so, because it's a wasted effort, and it's a frustrating one. That an investor, whether he's a domestic or a foreign, that he has to go from one window to the other, getting permit from here and there. The idea is, if they can create their company in 1 day, why can't they start their work in 2 or 3 or 4 months, so they can so they can be encouraged to stay and flourish, and also invite others to come. Also, the legislations, we want to make sure the legislations are favorable the investment. One thing is that we are also determined to do, we are determined to ensure that whatever we do at the highest level will also reach the poor and the middle class. So my colleague, Minister of Industry, Mr. Hatem, is also tasked to look at SMEs and how do we encourage them, so we can make sure that that what happened before doesn't happen again. That the wealth stays within certain number, small percent of people, and it never trickles down, because it doesn't trickle down by itself. You need to make sure it reaches the poor and the medium class. I recall that the first loan that I signed was a loan with the World Bank, and it was cash for work. the message was clear, but you know, that really we want to ensure that the poor. This is again part of the themes of the revolution about social justice. That the poor, you know, getting part of the wealth that is being created. We also want to make sure that whatever we do, whatever decisions we take in this government, we do it in a participatory approach. So, as I mentioned, we will launch very soon some societal dialogue about where we're heading, which directions, what do we do, because there's still some people debate whether we should take an IMF loan or we can depend on our local resources, or we can borrow from here or borrow from there, or we don't borrow at all. So this kind of issues, whether we think it is basic or we think it is something that we need to still debate upon, we will provide a platform for various groups to debate upon, so people feel that they are part of the decision. And this is important, because once they feel they're part of the decision, they will definitely own it and will definitely fight for it and work with us to achieve our goals. Of course, during the process, you know, there is, you know, as you know, the Americans would say, no pain, no gain. So, of course, if you want to gain, if you want to prosper, we need to all work hard, and there was also some pain. So this is, if you're part of the process, there is also a very high tendency that you will take this pain in a good way. We also want to make sure that for investors, that if they have easy entry, like my colleague Mr. Saleh said, in one day you can establish a company. There's also the possibility of an easy exit. So it is not like they're stuck here for a while. So it is also part of the things. If you have this feeling and it is true, you definitely want to stay. From my background as an engineer, I want to also emphasize that for all the development, especially industrial ones, we want to make sure that our environment is well protected. So if you intend, you know, and we want to, I won't say toughen up our rules, because we really have tough environmental rules, but they don't get properly implemented. But with the very high population density in around the Nile and Delta, we want to make sure that whatever investment we do is really environmental friendly, and also will not have a detrimental impact on the people around it. I should not say detrimental. We don't have appreciable impacts or negative appreciable impacts on the people around those investments. One other area that that is really a challenge, but it's also an opportunity, and this is really our approach, because we have many challenges. If you look at the number of population, 90 million, you really have to feed. And this is a challenge. You need to provide them with power. You need to provide them with clean water. This is a challenge, but at the same time, it provides opportunity for many of you, because investment in generation and power generation, for instance, is something that we're going to encourage in the very near future. We want to encourage building power plants, whether using fossil fuel, or we also encourage using non-renewable energy. Because here, it is especially for the solar energy. But this is the model we're going to adopt, is private to private. That the power plant should be private investment, but the customer also will be factories, or some investment that can be able to afford the price of the power generation. Previously, or the current one, that the model that the government will buy the power and then will sell to the private sector. We want to avoid that. We want to go private generation of the power and then sell this to the private entities as well. Many ideas that we're exploring. I think I looked at your program, and I see you have a very rich program. I will leave behind, not for the whole day, but for some time, my colleagues from the Minister of Investment and the Minister of Industry, and we have people here from the stock market, from the Ministry of Finance. So I'm sure you will have a good group of people that can answer the questions of this distinguished crowd. I would like to thank all of you for coming this morning, and I remind you of the challenge that I gave, an assignment I gave you this morning, and I hope to hear from Ala by the end of the day about how you're going to contribute to the success of this revolution. Thank you again, and have a fruitful meeting and successful discussions. Thank you.